Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing Anti-Knight Arrow. Now, this particular puzzle was actually recommended to me by gUBBLOR, and it's not a puzzle from gUBBLOR, so it's quite refreshing having a constructor actually recommend another puzzle that they really enjoyed from another constructor and just say, yeah, Sleuth, you've absolutely got to feature it. gUBBLOR kind of gave me a bit of a tip about it, so I'm not going to mention it now, but is it a tip? Essentially, the reason he thinks it's going to be really enjoyable, not just for me, as well as the audience of this channel, is it plays a lot like Colorado. And if you're familiar with the series, you probably kind of can guess what we have in store for us here today. Anyhow, of course, we've got a knight here holding an arrow. Somehow it's an anti-knight arrow pointing at Sleuth. Sleuth is looking quite scared, which I would be, to be fair. If I've got a knight holding an arrow right to my face, I would be equally scared as he is. Anyway, let's take a look at this puzzle and this particular setup that we have here. I should mention, actually, 2-star difficulty rating. It is a weekend puzzle. That's sort of what gUBBLOR recommended. And it's actually got a phenomenal rating. So, pardon me, let me take a quick look what the rating was overall. Because I did check it out and I thought, oh, that looks pretty good. But for some reason, yeah, 94% rating. So we are certainly in for a treat. Anyway, let's take a look at today's puzzle and the grid and the rules. So we've got Anti-Knight Arrow by Sir Moose. This is apparently Sir Moose's first puzzle. So all the comments that were left about it were basically just commending him for just having such a phenomenal puzzle on the first one that he's created and featured. First one he's created, this is the first time I'm featuring it. Anyway, I can talk sense, I'm sure I can. Let's take a look at the rules. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. We know that one. Second is the anti-knight one. Cells separated by a knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. So if this cell here was a 2, not only can I not place it in the same column, same row, or same boxes, anywhere that's also a chess knight's move away. So remember, chess knight is 2 steps forward, 1 step to the side, kind of that infamous L shape. Essentially, all of these now that are L shapes away can't be 2s either. They have to be a different digit because of the anti-knight rule set. What else do we have in here? So we've also got digits along an arrow sum to the digit in the bulb. You can see there's quite a few of these. Obviously, box 5 is where it all is. So these 3 cells add up to a value that you're going to have to be able to write in this bulb. So if I come up with 1, 2, 3, for example, this cell here would have to be a 6 to make sure that it's true. What else do we have? Digits along an arrow sum to the digit in the bulb. Digits separated by an x must sum to 10. And not all x's are given. So digits separated by an x must sum to 10. Not all x's are given. So if this cell here was a 2, I've got pencil mark checking on, pardon me, let me turn that off. Then this cell would have to be an 8 to make sure that these 2 cells add up to 8. Sorry, add up to 10. The no negative constraints means that certainly this could be an 8. And these 2 cells don't have an x, but they do add up to 10. That's going to be absolutely fine. So that's all the rules we have for today from Sir Moose. Now, if you fancy joining Sleuth on that field and have knights point arrows at you, I don't think I should recommend that. But if you want to play this puzzle, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock, see how I get on. So, there's a lot to take in. Box 5 is clearly where it's all at. And I don't know if I'm going to use letters or numbers today. I'm fairly sure I'm going to use letters. You know, if gUBBLOR is pointing you towards Colorado, he's almost certainly saying you should probably think about using letters. But the first thing that I'm noticing is that these 4 because they're adding at least 3 cells, and the minimum of 3 cells is always a 6, essentially we've got 6, 7, 8, and 9 in here. Yeah, this is a very interesting puzzle now. Right, let's keep going. So I'm going to use temporarily just highs and lows. I don't know if I'm going to stick with that, but that is definitely all the high digits. Now, remember what I showed you earlier? This is already fascinating. This is already fascinating. This is a 5. Unbelievable, but it is a 5. So if you remember when I was showing you the anti-knight rule set, essentially what I was saying is that none of these cells could be, whatever this cell is, I'm going to write in a 5. Whatever this cell is, can't be in here, can't be in the same row, can't be in the same box, but also can't be a chess knight's move away. Now, why am I now saying that this is a 5? Because, well, obviously it's not 6, 7, 8, 9. We know that these are 6, 7, 8, 9. Otherwise, I will break it immediately with the arrow sums. And whatever cell is in here can't be on any of the arrows. Now, this is immensely interesting because one of these will be a 6 with 1, 2, 3. One of these will be a 7 with 1, 2, 4. So if I put a 1 in here, I've broken it because none of these could be 1, and I can never have a 6 in one of those arrow sums. If I put a 2, same. If I put a 3, same. I've broken the 6. I can't have a 6 in any of these. However, because of the 7, I can't put a 4 in here because none of these would be able to be a 4. Not the center digit, not the 2 that are a chess knight's move away, and suddenly I can't have 1, 2, 4, which is the only way to make up a 7 in 3 cells. So, long way of saying, we actually have our first digit with a 5. Yeah, I can't quite make up my mind about whether this is going to be... Sorry, I really should finish this sentence. Whether I'm going to use letters or not. I want to sort of, I'm so sorry. I want to keep thinking about the rest of this puzzle for a second. So one of these is a 6. I'm just going to, forget the pencil marks for a second. They're obviously wrong. I don't know what these are, but I just want to sort of keep track of it. One of them is going to be 1, 2, 4 and a 7. With the 5 in the middle, the only way to make an 8 now is 1, 3, 4. Because 1, 2, 5 is no longer an option because the 5 is no longer allowed on any of these arrows. So the only way to make a 5 is 1, 3, 4. Now 9 is interesting. If it's not 2, 3, 4, and I'm using a 1, then I need 2 digits that add up to 8. And 3, 5 is not allowed, so it's 1, 2, 6 or 1 or 2, 3, 4. That's my options for the 9. And you can see I can do something quite weird, like 6 here with 4, 4, and 1, 2. And therefore, this would be 8, 9. Well, it would have to be 8. This would have to be 1. This would have to be... Sorry, this would have to be 2 because this would have to be the 9. And then the 9 is not in any of these cells. That would have to be the 9, which makes sense. And then there's no place for the 5. So I think the 9 has to be 2, 3, 4. I think this is forced. Forget where the 6 and 9 is. Right. Let's just ignore all of these pencil marks for a second. I think we don't know which one is 6, 7, 8, 9. We know it's 1, 2, 3. We know it's 1, 2, 4. We know it's 1, 3, 4. I just want to come back to the 9 for a second. Now, with the 5 here, I mean, I don't know why I didn't see this. That's a 5, that's a 5, that's a 5, that's a 5. Because essentially, these are x's, so you can never have a 5 on a 10 in two cells, because the second would have to be a 5. So none of these are 5s. And just because of this 5 in the middle, none of these are 5s. So the 5s are forced into these corners. So no negative constraints, but this is actually an x. Essentially, there's one x, there's two x's, there's three x's. That's the fourth because it's not a 5. This is getting very fascinating. But let's go back to that 9, because I really like the idea that these arrows are essentially all low digits, which would help me immensely to actually use some letters now to actually make some progress. But I don't know how I can force this to be 2, 3, 4 rather than 1, 2, 6. So I really want to sort of finish that thought. So immediately, yeah, I've got it. Right. Is that true here as well? That's true here. That's true here. The construction of this is forcing it. Sir Moose, this is an absolute phenomena. Right. Let's assume that this is 1, 2, 6 for a second. And then any one of these being a 1 will break it, because essentially there would have to be a 9 in here to make this x work. Then the 9 would see it with knight's move. So a long way of saying that the 1 couldn't be in here, the 1 would have to be there. And of course, this would now have to be the 9, because that's all the rest must add up to 10. 2 and 6, 2 and 6, this would have to be 4 and 8. And because this is not a 1, this would have to be 3, 7 to make this x work, and then the 1 and 9 in here. So the 9 would still see this 9 and prevent it from being a 9. So now we have something that is easy to solve. These are all low digits. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. This is high, 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 high. This arrow, I mean, I don't really want to do this right now, but you can see that there is a lot of symmetry about this puzzle, and that the arrow sums are really going to be what we need to actually solve it at the end. So you can see that these are going to be high digits because they are summing up 3 unique digits because they're all in the same box. But we'll come back to that later. Now, obviously, this means that these are high because remember, these 2 and these 2 and these 2 and these 2, these 4 all add up to 10. So these are also high. How am I going to determine the polarity of these? I think I am going to have to start using some letters now. So, A, I, I didn't get very far, did I? I can see I is not in here. I is in there. A, more importantly, is not there, because, you know, Sudoku, not the 5, that's A. So these are all going to be different, B, C, D. And therefore, yeah, you can sort of force it. Essentially, whatever this letter is, let's say it's B, it would have to be in here to eliminate these 2 cells. Then this one here would be C, for example. I'm just making this up clearly. It wasn't very useful. I meant to put it on the outside, excuse me. Did I mean to put it on the outside? Right, how about I stop this for a second and just go about this a bit more systematically. You can see, I don't know. You can see that A is not here. Is this A? A would be one of these 3 cells. Can I force it? Yes, I can. No, I can't. A is not here. It's not there because of knight move. It's not here. So A is one of these three cells. Not sure. Can this be A? One of these is A. Right, how about, okay, let's just focus on the ones that have double X's for a second, because I know this is not A, therefore this is a different letter, it's B. And therefore these two are H's. Sorry, I didn't really explain the letters. I should briefly, but essentially, I don't know. I know that A, B, C, and D are low. Excuse me. And for consistency, I'm just making sure that the opposite letter, just if you use the letters, you can see that opposite the A across the E is an I, B is an H, C is a G, D is an F. As long as I'm consistent, that's all that matters. So B is not here, this is B. And this is not A or B, this is going to be different. This is going to be C. They're in the same column, and C is not this cell, that's C. Right, and this is not A, B, or C. You can see it either by Sudoku or knight move. This is a new letter, that's D, and that's D. Lovely. I can see A, D, and C. This has to be B. This has to be H. A, D, and B. This has to be C. This has to be G. A, B, and C. This has to be D, F. This one, B, C, and D. This has to be A. This has to be I. What is this? This is B or D? Let's just think. Can I eliminate anything? No. And this is A or C. But we've got 4 high digits. Yeah. Oh, you know, so these are low. These are high. This would have to be another B or D, just because it's not A or C. So this is BD. Hello, what happened there? BD, AC. If it's A, this would have to be I. If it's C, this would have to be G. And same thing, GI in here. This would have to be, BD would be HF. This would be another HF, and this would be G. Same logic, so these would be low, these would be high. I'm sure I can do better. FH, FH, H, F, H, B, D. You know, just pay attention. Sleuth, G, looking at I, making this a G, making this a C, making this an A. These are now I and F, and this is not the I, this is the I. This is the F, this is not the H, this is the G. G makes C, makes D, makes F. H, and not H again, F, H, B, A, I. Wow. F, G. My goodness, this is just almost like collapsing now. So normally when I use the Colorado series, you'd notice me doing things like the blue and green. Problem is with, I don't have any V's, so I don't actually know which one of these, you know, does that add up to 5? I don't know. Does that add up to 5? Still don't know. So I don't actually know which of these pair up, for example, to actually make 1, 4, and 2, 3. So having separate colors other than just low and high, not going to be very useful. So this is not G or F, it's H. It's H. It's not I, it's not F, it's not G. It's H. H needs to be in one of these three cells, and it's not this cell. It's one of these two. Remember, this also needs to be high. It's not F, it's not G, it's not F. Oh, it's not I, excuse me. I said F twice. So this is H. And H is not that high because there's another digit in here to add up to another high digit. So this is, because it's not even a 5, couldn't have been a 5. It has to be a low digit. Even if this is a 6, plus anything other than 3 or lower would break this. So this has to be a low digit. This is also a high digit, and it's not H, I, or F, it's G. G is down here, just Sudoku. And that's nearly all the G's done. That is all the G's done. Surely all the H's nearly done as well. Yeah, that's H. H. So I need an F, C, and a 5. Can I do the 5s? Surely I can do the 5s. Huh. Not quite. So the 5s are like that, and the 5 in here can't be there. Oh, no, it can be. I could have 5 with 1 and 3 or 1 and 2. How am I going to resolve the 5s? I don't know. No 5s on here. We know that H is not 9 because H is smaller than G. So there's at least one thing that is bigger than H. And the reason that's interesting is if there's no 5s, I also know there are no 6s. Because if there is a 6, that would be essentially 6 plus 1, 2 would make this a 9. That would make this at least 10. So all of these are low. I need a high digit in here. I need an I. It's not there. It's one of these two. I and I as well. Could I have I in here? No. Again, same setup. This cell is not 9, and therefore I can't have a high digit on here. Even if I put a 6, that would make this 9 with 1, 2. So that's not I, that's I, that's not I, that's I. And I very nearly did all the high digits. So I'm missing F. F is in one of 2 cells. One of 2 cells again in here. It's in here. These two eliminate this F. That's F. I've got an F X-wing. It just depends on what this is. Can this be even a low digit? I think it can be, so not entirely sure actually. Okay, so somewhere in here is a C. It's not this cell. Am I going to have to... This cell is not F and it's not C. It's a 5. Not 5. And that gives me the 5s, thankfully. 5, 5, 5. 5s are done. Am I going to color them gray? Yeah, I may as well. So this is C and F. Can I figure out what this is? So it's not B, but I don't know what it is. These 3 surely is helpful. I know this is B. B's are none of these. That's a B. Therefore, that's an F. Oh, hang on. Yeah, that was an F because that F was in these 2 cells. And therefore, that's C, that's F. Right, that's all the high digits done. mean, I may as well, it's kind of pointless coloring these, but these are all low, obviously. C is in one of two cells. That is night move. That is C. C is in here with a D. I don't know. Which gives me A in here. A, D, A, B, D, 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 B, A, B. That's B, that's A. D, C, therefore C, D. Lovely. Right. To resolve this from here, you kind of basically have to ignore everything in the middle. It's not very useful. It's these that matter. And actually, this is quite interesting. So B and C, oh, hang on, 5 and B. Yeah, so H and H are both in here. So that's very useful. And what it's also saying is that C plus 2 things is equal to H. And in this particular case, A and D have to equal 5 and B. So even if B is quite small, like 1, these are already quite high. They're at least 2 and 4 to make sure they add up to 6. If it is 2 and 4, that would become 3. So hang on. Yeah, so that would be 3, 1, and 5. What did I just say? I said if B is 1, these two would have to add up to 2, 4, at least, to make it work. And if that's the case, 1, 2, 4 would make this 3. 3, 1 would be 4 plus 5 would make H9, which would break. So B can't be 1. Interesting. Yeah, of course. Because without a B, that would make 2, 3, 4. That would make this 9. And then this has to be something that's bigger than 9. So 1 has to be one of these cells. But at the same time, it can't be that much higher, because if B is 2, I'm already at 7 in here. And that's the maximum, because essentially A and D have to equal 5 plus whatever B is. And even if I maximize these, 3 and 4, that is 7. So B can't be 1 and is a maximum of 2, so it has to be 2. 2. 8. This is now 1, 3, 4. That works. Lovely. That makes C1 to make sure that it does add up to 8 here. And these are 3 and 4. What do I have that will help me? C was joined with G, wasn't it? Where's the 1s? Yeah, so that's 9s. Yeah, that's good. How am I going to determine the 3s and 4s? So these are 3 and 4. That makes F7. And the 7 is joined with a D. So that is the 3. That is the 4. And therefore that is the 6. And I'm done. That's a phenomenal puzzle, Sir Moose. I can get why gUBBLOR recommended it. That is an absolute stunner. Really, really, really good puzzle. Yeah, pretty happy with the solve. It's a very tricky solve. Very tricky solve. So I'm kind of surprised it's only 2 stars. So you can obviously make sure that these are reds. if it wasn't for my rule set explanation, I probably wouldn't have spotted that this has to be a 5 because I needed the 1, 2, 3, and 4 around the corners for the 6 and 7. So knowing that this is 5 and therefore all of these are low, yeah, that was huge. And then, yeah, the resolution at the end wasn't exactly intuitive trying to figure these out. But what a phenomenal puzzle, Sir Moose. I really do hope that you continue this construction career because that was a stunning puzzle. Thank you very much, gUBBLOR, for the recommendation. Thank you, Sir Moose, for the puzzle. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle in the video. And see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.